I, 29M. Honestly never thought I'd end up in the middle of a full-blown family disaster. I'm not the dramatic one. I'm not the type to pry, dig, or get into other people's business. I work, I come home, I mind my own life. If anything, I'm the calm one in the family. At least that's what everyone used to say. Until Jake entered the picture. Jake is my sister Samantha's husband. Or he was. I'll get to that. Samantha, 32F. And I have always been close. We grew up as each other's best friend. We shared everything. Our parents' arguments, our school struggles, our heartbreaks. She was the one who pushed me to go to college, and I was the one who helped her move into her first apartment. We fought sometimes, but we always found our way back. So when she brought Jake around 5 years ago, I really tried to like him. But Jake has this perfect guy act that doesn't sit right. Outwardly, he's charming. He knows how to talk to people, especially older folks. My parents adored him instantly. My dad called him the most responsible young man I've ever met. My mom acted like he was the son she never had. But with me, he always treated me like I was some sort of annoyance. Always subtly belittling me, correcting me, dismissing my ideas. If I told a story, he'd interrupt to fix the details. If I mentioned work, he'd joke about my low-pressure job. If I talked about dating, he'd smirk and say something like, "Well, not everyone is meant for marriage." Stuff only I seemed to notice. At first, I ignored it for Samantha's sake. She was happy, glowing, in love. I didn't want to ruin that. She kept telling me how lucky she was, how Jake was the one, how she finally felt secure. I wanted that for her. But over the years, micro-annoyances turned into actual red flags. Jake became increasingly controlling in small ways. What Samantha wore, which friends she should stop seeing, how often she visited our parents. He complained when she spent time with me. He complained when she stayed late at work. He complained when she went out with her friends. And Samantha, who was once fiercely independent, started shrinking. I noticed. I spoke up once, gently, and she brushed it off with a strained smile. "He's just protective," she said. "He just worries," she insisted. "It's fine, really." But it wasn't fine. Still, I stayed out of it. Until the night everything changed at my parents hosted a small family dinner for my dad's birthday. Jake arrived late, looking annoyed. Samantha's smile was too bright, the kind of brightness people use when they're hiding something. We all sat down. Dinner was normal at first, until the conversation shifted to babies. My mom made a harmless comment. "When are you two going to give us grandkids? We're not getting any younger." Jake laughed and said, "Well, we'll see. Sam here is pretty busy with work." Then he grabbed Samantha's thigh under the table in a way that made her flinch. I noticed. So did she. She caught my eye, but she didn't say anything. Later, my mom asked Samantha about her recent promotion. She was so proud. She'd worked insanely hard for it. But before she could answer, Jake cut in. "She's not taking that position anymore," he said, casually slicing steak. "We agreed it wasn't the right move." "We agreed." Samantha's face turned pale. My mom blinked. "Oh?" But she was so excited. "Oh, she was," Jake said smugly. "But we decided she should focus more on family stuff." My stomach twisted. Samantha looked like she wanted to speak, but Jake's hand tightened around hers, and she fell silent. That was the moment I knew something was seriously, dangerously wrong. After dinner, while my parents cleaned up, I stepped outside for some air, and overheard Samantha crying behind the garage. Crying. Not sniffling. Not tearing up. Sobbing. I didn't even think. I went around the corner. "Samantha!" She jumped, wiping her eyes fast. "Oh hey, I'm fine." She was not fine. "What happened?" "Nothing," she said, shaking her head too quickly. "We're just stressed." "Sam," I said softly, "you know you don't have to pretend with me." She opened her mouth, closed it again, then whispered, "Please, don't ask." Not right now. Before I could push, the back door swung open. Jake, standing there with that cold smirk. There you are, he said to her. We're leaving. His eyes flicked to me. You've interfered enough today. Interfered. What the hell did that mean? Samantha hurried past him. He put his arm around her shoulders, guiding her like she was property. They drove off. I stood there long after their car lights disappeared. Something was wrong, badly wrong, and I wasn't imagining it anymore. Later that night, around 11:40 p.m., I got a text from an unknown number. First, I thought it was spam. Then I opened it. Unknown. You don't know me, but you need to know the truth about Jake. My heart slammed against my ribs. Unknown, 15 seconds later, he's not who your sister thinks he is. Attached was a picture. Picture of Jake, kissing another woman. Not hugging. Not friendly contact. Full, intimate kissing. My hands went numb. The timestamp showed it was taken 2 days ago. 2 days ago. My first thought was Samantha. My second thought was, who the hell sent this? Before I could reply, another message came. This isn't the only thing. I'll explain everything soon. Don't tell him you know. Please. No name. No context. Just that bomb. I sat there shaking, staring at the photos. The same sharp pain rose in my chest. The same rage that had grown for years every time Jake dismissed her, silenced her, controlled her. So he was cheating. And not just cheating, cheating while isolating her. Cheating while dictating her life. Cheating while forcing her to turn down promotions, friends, opportunities. While pretending to be the perfect husband. I didn't sleep that night. I kept replaying dinner. The way she flinched. The way she cried. The way she begged me not to ask. And suddenly everything made sense. This wasn't about stress. This wasn't about disagreements. This was about control, manipulation, lies. And I realized Jake's big secret wasn't just cheating. It was something far bigger. The stranger who texted me knew more, a lot more. And by the next morning, I was going to find out exactly how deep Jake's lies went. Because I wasn't staying out of it anymore. Not when my sister was being destroyed in slow motion. I barely slept after the mysterious texts and the picture of Jake kissing another woman. My brain kept replaying every red flag I'd ignored over the past few years. Every controlling moment. Every time he silenced my sister. Every smirk. Every backhanded comment. Now it all clicked like pieces dropping perfectly into place. But cheating alone didn't explain the tone of the messages. He's not who your sister thinks he is. This isn't the only thing. I'll explain everything soon. Don't tell him you know. This wasn't someone warning me of an affair. This was someone warning me of a danger. By 7 a.m., I was pacing around my living room waiting for the number to text again. Instead, I got a call. Unknown caller. I answered immediately. Hello. A shaky female voice whispered. Is this Sam's brother? Yes. Who is this? I can't tell you my name. Not yet. But I have to warn you. I didn't know how else to reach you. She was crying. Not lightly. Not dramatically. This was the sound of someone terrified. What's going on? Who are you? She sucked in a breath. I'm the woman in the photo. My stomach dropped. Before I could respond, she hurried on, words tumbling out fast. It's not what you think. I'm not with Jake. I'm not dating him. I didn't choose this. I didn't know he was married at first, and when I found out, he threatened me. He said he'd ruin me. He said he'd show up at my job. I tried to block him, but he always found a way. He's dangerous. I froze where I stood. Dangerous? What do you mean dangerous? She hesitated. Her voice cracked. He's not just cheating on your sister. He's doing other things. Bad things. Money things. Legal things. I didn't want to get involved, but he made me. He used me. The room spun. Please, she whispered. Please don't tell him you know anything. He'll connect it to me. He'll come for me. My mouth went dry. What kind of things is he involved in? She sniffled. I'll explain everything. Just, can we meet somewhere public? Somewhere safe. My hands trembled. Name the place. We met at a crowded coffee shop downtown. I chose it because there were cameras, lots of people, and multiple exits. I got there early and sat near a corner booth. Every time the door opened, I jerked my head up. When she finally walked in, I recognized her immediately from the photo. Same hair, same eyes, but she looked exhausted, paranoid. She kept her head down, scanning the room before sitting across from me. "Thank you for coming," she whispered. "Tell me everything." She pulled out her phone, hands trembling, and slid it toward me with dozens of messages from Jake. "Come outside now. Don't make me come find you. You owe me. If you tell anyone, I'll destroy you. You know what I can do." My blood boiled. "These look like threats," I said. "They are," she whispered. "He didn't just cheat on your sister. He used me as a cover for his other activities." "What activities?" She swallowed hard. "Jake has been stealing from his company." I stared. "What?" "He works in corporate accounting. I didn't know at first, but he used my bank info for some of the transfers. He said if I told anyone, I'd go to jail too." My jaw dropped. "He stole money using your account?" She nodded, tears spilling over. "And not just from the company, from his clients too. He said it was temporary. He said he'd put it all back. But he didn't. And when I told him I wanted out, he said, She choked on her words, covering her mouth for a moment. "He said he'd tell people I helped him willingly, that I seduced him, that I blackmailed him. He said no one would ever believe me over him." I felt sick. "Why did you send me the photo?" I asked. "Because he's planning to disappear. He's leaving your sister. He said he's done with her and that once he ties up loose ends, he's moving states. And when he goes, I'm scared he'll try to pin everything on me." I stared at her in horror. "And my sister doesn't know any of this?" She shook her head. "He keeps her isolated on purpose. He doesn't love her. He uses her. She's cover." "Cover for what?" "Looking stable. Looking married. Looking like a trustworthy man so no one questions him." The coffee shop noise buzzed around me but felt miles away. I took a deep breath. "Why tell me now?" Her voice broke. "Because he said he's withdrawing everything from my account tonight." That was it. That was the moment something inside me snapped. Jake wasn't just an asshole. He wasn't just a manipulator. He wasn't just a cheater. He was a criminal, a liar, and a threat to everyone around him. And Samantha was sleeping beside this man every night. I leaned forward. "Can I have your permission to expose him?" She hesitated, then nodded, whispering, "Please, I'm begging you." My chest tightened. "I'll take it from here." I went straight to my parents' house. Samantha was there, sitting at the kitchen table with a cup of cold coffee, looking hollow. She looked up weakly when I walked in. "What's wrong?" she asked. I didn't sit. "Sam, we need to talk." She tensed, shoulders rising. "Is this about the promotion?" "Because Jake explained. It's not about your job." She stared at me. "It's about Jake." Her throat bobbed as she swallowed. "What about him?" I breathed in sharply. "Sam, I know about the cheating." Her face drained of color. It was like watching someone fall apart in slow motion. Her hands shook. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. You know?" I nodded. She pressed her palms to her eyes, crying silently. "I didn't want you to find out like this." "You knew?" I asked, stunned. She nodded weakly. "I found messages. Months ago. He swore it was over. He swore she meant nothing." I clenched my fists. "It wasn't over, Sam. And it wasn't just cheating." Her head snapped up. "What do you mean?" I hesitated. This was it. The point of no return. "Sam, He's stealing money. She blinked, confused. What? He's involved in financial crimes, fraud, theft, and he's using the woman he cheated with to do it. He threatened her. He threatened to ruin her if she spoke out. Her face twisted. No, you're wrong. Jake wouldn't. Jake isn't. I pulled out my phone and showed her the messages. The bank screenshots, the threats, the evidence. Her hands covered her mouth as she shook violently, whispering, "Oh my God! Oh my God!" Then suddenly, the front door slammed. We both froze. Heavy footsteps. A voice dripping with venom. "Well, isn't this cute?" Jake, standing in the doorway, ice cold, jaw tight, looking at me like I wasn't human. "So this is your little rat, Sam? This is who's been poisoning you against me?" Samantha trembled. "Jake, save it," he snapped. Then he stepped closer to me. "You have no idea what you just did." I didn't back down. "Actually," I said quietly, "I know exactly what I'm doing." His eyes darkened. "You just started something you can't finish." He turned to Samantha, voice dangerously calm. "And you're coming with me." She shook her head, stepping back. "No, I'm not." Jake's face twisted with rage, and he took a step forward. I stepped between them. "Touch her," I said, "and I swear." He cut me off with a laugh. A slow, demonic laugh that made my skin crawl. "You think you can stop me?" Then he leaned in so close I felt his breath. "You have no idea how deep this goes." When I woke up the next morning, the house was too quiet. The kind of quiet that has weight. A heavy, suffocating stillness. My phone had dozens of notifications, but I didn't check them yet. I needed coffee and oxygen first. My wife, Claire, wasn't in bed with me. That was unusual, because she always woke me up with a sarcastic "good morning," disaster of a husband. Even on her worst days, I found her downstairs, sitting at the dining table, staring at a mug of tea that had gone completely cold. She didn't look angry. She looked defeated. "Morning," I said hesitantly. She didn't respond. I sat down slowly. "Did you sleep at all?" Again, nothing. Silence. Then, finally, with a shaky voice, "I talked to Emily." Emily, her sister. The cheating sister. The one who should have been the person in the family I cared least about, but somehow kept taking center stage in all this destruction. "What did she say?" I asked. Claire took a long breath. She admitted everything. I wasn't surprised. But the quiet heartbreak in Claire's face, that gutted me. I hated Emily, but I'd never wanted Claire to be hurt like this. "And," I pressed gently, "and she's blaming you." Of course she was. "For what?" I asked, already knowing the answer. "For ruining her life. She says you exposed the messages on purpose to embarrass her in the group chat." I blinked in disbelief. "She cheated on her fiancé." "I know." Claire's voice cracked. "I know that, and you know that. But Emily, she's spinning it. She told Mom that you screenshotted her texts and sent them to the whole family because you hate her. She's saying you had no right." I laughed out loud. The kind of laugh you get when you're too angry to breathe. "She cheated on Owen for 7 months," I snapped. "I didn't expose anything. She was sloppy and got caught." Claire looked torn. "I told her that. But you know how my mom is." Oh, I knew. Claire's mom believed Emily walked on water. Emily could steal the car, crash it into a church, yell at the priest, run over the choir director, and Claire's mom would still say, "Well, she must have had a good reason." "What did your mom say?" I asked. Claire hesitated. She said Owen wasn't family, but you are. And you should have protected Emily's privacy instead of airing dirty laundry. I scoffed again. "I didn't post it on Facebook. They were her own messages on the family chat. How is this my fault?" "She's emotional. She's defending Emily." "Emily destroyed her own engagement," I said. "Not me." Claire rubbed her forehead. I know, but my family is acting like you stabbed her in the back. That's when my own phone started ringing. The caller ID made my stomach drop. Claire's dad. The calm one. The rational one. The man who rarely raised his voice. Answer it, Claire whispered. I hesitated, then picked up. Hello. His voice was cold. Why would you humiliate Emily like that? I didn't humiliate. She made a mistake, he interrupted sharply. A horrible mistake, yes, and she's paying for it. But what you did, sending screenshots to the whole family, that was cruel. I didn't send anything. I insisted. It was her phone, her conversation, her messages. It doesn't matter, he said. You should have kept quiet instead of fueling conflict. I didn't fuel anything, I snapped. Your daughter cheated. That's the truth. He let out a disappointed exhale. I expected better from you. And then he hung up. I stared at the phone in disbelief. Claire pressed her hands against her eyes. This is bad. She was right. The room felt like it was shrinking, like the walls were caving in. Then my phone buzzed again. A text from Owen, the ex-fiancé. Owen, can we talk today? I need the full story. I think her family is lying to me. I showed the message to Claire. You should talk to him, she said quietly. He deserves the truth. She wasn't wrong. But I also knew that telling him everything would put a target on my back even bigger than the one already there. I texted him back. Mia, come by the house around 2:82 on the dot. Owen arrived. He looked broken, like someone who hadn't slept in days. His eyes were bloodshot, and his hands trembled as he sat on our couch. What happened exactly? He asked, voice hoarse. So I told him. Everything. How Emily had been hiding things. How she flirted with her coworker in the family group chat by accident. How she gaslit Claire. How I tried to back off, but the truth came out anyway. Owen sat still for a long time. Then he said, her family called me this morning. They said you were obsessed with finding dirt on her and trying to break us up. I nearly choked. What? Owen nodded. They accused you of manipulating Emily, of fabricating texts. That's insane, I said. They're covering for her. They always do. Owen sighed. I figured as much. I know Emily. I know her family. And after what she screamed at me last night, he shook his head. It's over. But I'm not letting her rewrite the story. He stood to leave, but before he went, he said something that would change everything. Just be careful. Emily's not done. And she's trying to drag you down with her. That evening, the bomb finally exploded. A massive message appeared in the family group chat. Emily, since some people are spreading lies and trying to ruin my life, let's set the record straight. OP has been stalking me, going through my phone, and trying to catch me cheating for months. He's obsessed. I'm tired of it. I nearly threw my phone across the room. Minutes later, her mom chimed in. Mom, I agree. This has gone too far. OP, you owe Emily an apology. Then her dad. Dad, we need to talk about your behavior. You've created chaos in this family. My hands were shaking with anger. But Claire, sweet, quiet, conflict-avoiding Claire, finally snapped. She typed the longest, most furious message I've ever seen her write. Claire, enough. OP didn't stalk anyone. OP didn't expose anything. Emily cheated. Emily lied. Emily blew up her engagement. Stop blaming my husband because you can't accept that your perfect daughter isn't perfect. I'm done covering for her. I'm done being quiet. Grow up. Silence. Total, absolute silence. Then, Emily left the group chat. Mom left the group chat. Dad left the group chat. One by one. Like dominoes. Claire dropped her phone and burst into tears. I held her tightly. They hate me, she whispered. No, I said. They hate the truth. The next morning, Claire showed me a text message from her mom. Mom, we can't be around OP right now. If you want to come visit, come alone. Otherwise, stay away until he apologizes. I felt the heat rise in my chest. They want you to choose, I said quietly. Claire's lip trembled. I'm not choosing them, but the pain in her voice said everything. This wasn't over. This was just getting started. The days after the ultimatum were some of the hardest Claire and I had ever faced. The house felt colder, like someone had pulled the warmth right out of the walls. We moved around each other quietly, both exhausted from the fights, the accusations, the guilt. Not guilt for what happened, guilt for the impact. Claire's family was unraveling, and even though none of it was my fault, it felt like my presence was a fuse still burning. On the third evening after the blow-up, Claire sat down next to me on the couch and curled into my shoulder. They're not talking to me, she whispered. Her voice sounded small and tired. I wrapped an arm around her. They will. They just need time. Yes? But time to do what? She asked bitterly. Rewrite the story? Pretend Emily's a saint again? Pretend this never happened. The frustration in her voice wasn't just at them. It was at the unfairness of it all. She had spent her entire life being second place to Emily, the golden child who could do no wrong. This wasn't new. The treatment wasn't new. The difference was that this was the first time Claire refused to tolerate it. She didn't say it out loud, but I knew she wasn't going back to the old dynamic, even if it cost her family. The next morning, I was brushing my teeth when I heard Claire gasp downstairs. I ran down immediately, half expecting a fire or a break-in. Instead, she was sitting on the couch holding her phone out like it was radioactive. It's from Emily. My stomach sank. What did she say? Claire swallowed hard and handed me the phone. It wasn't a text. It was a voice message. I pressed play. Emily's voice was shaky, but not emotional. More like someone trying to steady themselves. I'm going to tell the truth now. All of it. Please don't hate me. Claire and I exchanged a confused glance. Emily continued. I wasn't going to admit it, but Mom is taking things too far. Dad too. I didn't want OP to get blamed for something he didn't do. I froze. Was this really happening? I cheated on Owen. For months. I hid it. I lied. I tried to make myself feel better by pretending OP was attacking me. But he wasn't. He never did anything to me. I'm sorry. The message ended with a shaky breath. Claire put a hand over her mouth. Holy! She actually admitted it. I sat down, stunned. I had fully prepared to go to my grave with the in-laws hating me for something I never did. But here was Emily, the source of all of it, finally telling the truth. Claire replayed the message again just to be sure it was real. I took her hand gently. She didn't have to send this. No, Claire whispered, but I'm glad she did. For the first time in weeks, a weight lifted off her shoulders. A few hours later, Claire's phone buzzed again. This time from her mother. She didn't call. She didn't say hello. She didn't even greet her daughter. She sent a single text. Mom, Emily says she exaggerated. We will discuss this later. Claire stared at the message, dumbfounded. Is she serious? Exaggerated? She lied. I sighed. Your mom's worldview can't handle Emily doing anything wrong, so she softens it. Claire threw her hands up. This is insane. She would rather blame you than accept that Emily did something awful. She's not apologizing, I said gently. No, Claire replied, voice going cold. She's not. Then she blocked her mom's number. Just like that. It was the cleanest boundary I'd ever seen her set. I'm done, she said quietly. I'm not going to beg her to love me more than she loves a fantasy version of Emily. I hugged her tightly. She cried into my chest, and it wasn't sadness. It was relief, release, finally letting go of decades of being compared, dismissed, overshadowed. A week passed. Then another. One afternoon, Claire's father called from an unknown number. She didn't answer. He left a voicemail. We'd like to talk. Your mother is ready to move forward. Not apologize. Not explain. Not acknowledge what they did. Just move forward. Claire and I discussed it for a while. Eventually, she decided she wanted closure. Not reconciliation, but closure. So we met with her parents at a small cafe. The moment we sat down, her mother started with, "I accept that Emily may have exaggerated." Claire took a deep breath. She didn't exaggerate. She lied. Her mother stiffened instantly. "Well, that's one interpretation." I almost choked on my water. Her father gave me a forced smile. "I trust you didn't intend to escalate the situation." I kept my voice calm. "I didn't escalate anything. I told Owen the truth when he asked." "That's it." Her mother looked annoyed. "Owen should not have involved you." Claire leaned forward. "Stop. Stop talking like he's the problem. Stop talking like my husband is the problem. Emily cheated. Emily lied. Emily caused all this. And you blamed everyone but her." Her mother looked away, jaw clenched. Her father sighed. "We simply want peace." Claire nodded slowly. "Good. Then here's how we move forward. You don't blame my husband. You don't rewrite history. You respect our boundaries." Her mother tensed. "Boundaries?" "Yes," Claire said firmly. "You will not talk about OP behind his back. You will not guilt-trip me into choosing sides. You will not defend Emily's lies." Her mother stood abruptly. "This is ridiculous. We don't need to be lectured." Claire remained calm. "Then we're done. We're not doing this anymore." Her father looked between us, helpless, then finally said, "We'll be better." It wasn't an apology, but it was the closest they were capable of. 2 months later, things settled. Emily started therapy and sent Claire a long, genuine apology. She didn't ask for forgiveness. She simply acknowledged everything she did, everything she lied about, and how much damage she caused. Claire forgave her slowly, cautiously, with boundaries. Her parents were distant but civil, polite but strained. No more accusations, no more guilt-tripping, no more demanding apologies. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't the family Claire wished she had, but it was better. And us? We grew stronger, closer, calmer. One night on the couch, Claire looked at me softly and said, "You know, I don't think you blew up the family. I think you finally made everyone show who they really are." I kissed her forehead. "Does that make me the villain or the hero?" I joked. She smiled. "Neither," she whispered. "Just the only one brave enough to tell the truth."